In the past weeks, we have seen messages circulating on social media, in WhatsApp groups, and on street corners, demanding that foreign nationals who are in the country illegally must leave by the end of this month.
We must be allowed to do our work, and we must be given the respect that we deserve. Secondly, is that South Africa is a sovereign state. South Africa must be allowed to defend itself.
I can only describe it as a tense, perhaps even an awkward moment where we had a Nigerian journalist in the room asking the minister in the presidency to apologize for the remarks that she made, particularly in regards to compensating some of the Nigerian nationals whose businesses had to close. Just very quickly, your remarks into what had took place this afternoon, and perhaps maybe even speaking about the difficulty I think South Africa faces in having to justify why it needs to enforce its own laws.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate, and that's why we call for all those who interact with us, because we do understand, and that's why I could boldly say we've traveled, we've seen our journalists in other countries. They never disrespect sitting ministers, sitting government officials, and that's our appeal. We must be allowed to do our work, and we must be given the respect that we deserve. Secondly, is that South Africa is a sovereign state. South Africa must be allowed to defend itself. South Africa must be allowed to enforce its laws. So we are a sovereign state. We are allowed to put the laws and the policies, not only put them in place, but enforce them. And we will do that without fear or favor. But our primary responsibility as a country is to protect our nation. The integrity of South Africa stands, and no nation, no individual have a right to tell us how we must run our country.
In the past weeks, we have seen messages circulating on social media, in WhatsApp groups, and on street corners, demanding that foreign nationals who are in the country illegally must leave by the end of this month. While publicly, the organizers of this misguided campaign state that they are only arranging peaceful protests. In practice, a number of these protests have been associated with murder, violence, looting, and destruction of property. This is likely to do with the misinformation that has been disseminated by these groups to try and blame legitimate community grievances on foreign nationals. These organizers are therefore very well aware that their actions are likely to contribute to violence being directed against people from other countries. They also know that the criminal elements are likely to make use of their protests to loot, steal, and destroy. Part of their misinformation is that the government is not doing anything about illegal immigration, which is patently untrue. Tens of thousands of undocumented foreign nationals are deported every year, and there are clear efforts to tighten the border control, improve immigration management, and reduce the number of people who are in the country unlawfully. Let us be absolutely clear from the start. This small minority of misguided people who think that our deep-rooted social and economic problems can simply be solved by targeting foreign nationals are themselves part of the problem. This is not who we are as South Africans, and it is not what our Constitution allows, as read by Deputy Minister Andries Nel.
Well, your friend is young president. The number one young president in the whole world.
The whole world.
No any comparison. People
everywhere.
You want them?
Do you know, as I'm talking to you now, I don't need a Nigerian passport to enter your country, South Africa. As a matter of fact, I can even get a flight ticket, get into South Africa, call an embassy, which is not a Nigerian embassy, and they will allow me into South Africa. You know why? Because of the policies of the government in Africa against their own brothers. It's a policy issue from your government. I said, I will give you South Africans 10, 20, 30, 40 years. May God protect our lives and keep us alive. From now, you see all those businesses you're telling to lock up, all those businesses you're telling to shut down, that they should go back. Your South African brothers cannot do what immigrants do in terms of business. I'm an Igbo person. I was born into a business family. Both my mom and my dad, they were business people. Your South African brothers cannot even pay rent in small shops that our brothers own there. And another thing I want to tell you guys, South Africans, I have South African friends. I happen to study with 2 of them outside of Africa. And I've made friends online and in person that are from South Africa. The problem of South Africa currently is the problem of entire Africa. Whatever is happening in South Africa is what the Mozambicans are facing, is what Nigerians are facing, is what Angolans are facing. It's a systemic, corrupt issue and policy, silly policies from dumps in government. And I'll give you more explanation, okay? How do you explain that I can come to South Africa now with a document that is not even Nigerian passport, and I'll be allowed in, but if I should have Nigerian passport, I will be scrutinized over and over? Why are we not addressing that? Okay, let me show you guys something here. Okay, recently, I think 2018 or thereabout, the Kingdom of Swaziland changed their name to Eswatini. Eswatini, okay? Do you know why? Because a group of people just invaded that territory and named that place Swaziland. The same way they name South Africa, South Africa. Okay, this is my laptop here. I'm going to pull up something on my laptop for explanation, okay? Let me see. How do you explain to anybody that this map right here, the map of South Africa, okay, let me make it bigger. So I'm going to fold this laptop for explanation. Okay, this is South Africa, right? I hope everybody can see it. This is South Africa in heavy brown, but this is another country inside South Africa called Lesotho. And this is Swaziland inside South Africa, which is now Eswatini. How do you explain that a group of people came all the way from Europe, mapped out all these areas, and carved a small or a smaller circle at the middle and named it a different country, and carved out another smaller country by the edge close to Mozambique and named it a different country? While you guys in South Africa, Lesotho and Swaziland, you speak the same language. You understand each other. Because the people who drew the borderline came in here and were able to locate where they want to steal mineral resources. So they did whatever they did, map out stuff, and name whatever they want to name. So are you telling me now that the people from Lesotho who lives outside of their own border that was given to them by Europeans should go back to Lesotho? Are they part of the people that should go back to their country? The people in Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland, if they are living in this area, should they go back to their place? Let's even forget people that came all the way from the northern side. So, why am I showing you guys this, okay? Let me drop my laptop. The case I'm making is that the problem of Africa is something that has to do with policies of the government. Visit and beware, it is from your mouth that I heard for the first time that South Africa is a country with first world infrastructure, but it is a third world country. And I agree with you on that one. If people migrate because they are looking for greener pastures, they should be respected. If they are migrating illegally, let the law take its course. As I'm talking to you, I have Nigerians that are lecturers in some universities in South Africa, my own Igbo brothers, doing legal businesses. I have cousins that are doing some businesses in South Africa. One of the videos I saw that was circulating online, few South African street urchins, I call them street urchins but because these guys are not informed. They approached this Igbo man. I was able to identify him as my own Igbo brother because of the way he speaks. He was selling some clothing, and I could see that those clothing, they are either used clothing or something of low quality from China. When your brothers approach him, and the funniest is the way they video this thing and post online as if they are doing something great. They ask him what he's doing, he explained to them. They asked him about his children, he explained to them. He said his children and his wife are in the house. And I don't know if he was married to a South African lady, because I have cousins that got married to South African ladies. And I also have cousins and people from my own community that have been to South Africa and they came back with nothing, zero, no achievement, no wife, nothing. Many of them, some of them even died in South Africa and came back and they brought their cups home. So, on the one that was selling on the street of South Africa, these South African guys told him to pack up whatever he was selling right there and leave and go home. And you could see fear in the eyes of this our brother. We didn't know what happened outside of the camera. We didn't know what was done to him outside of the cameras. But you could see fear, you could see trembling. But I bet you whatever he was having displayed that he was selling, which was clothing, he was actually sitting down on something like an umbrella and doing his buying and selling business. And the South African boys came to him and told him to pack up and go. I bet you whatever he was having is not up to $500, or let's even say whatever he was having right there, he was selling, is not up to $1,000, if I should put it that way. This is change. This is peanuts, if you actually understand the value of money. But still, your people came to that place to harass him. We're not talking about people that had already lost their life in this whole process. Please, the government of South Africa, put an end to this madness. If you allow your young boys uninformed, your men uninformed, chanting and calling black immigrants derogatory name, kwere, whatever it is, it's not going to help the country South Africa. It will never help the country South Africa. And 20, 30, 40 years from now, nothing is going to change in the life of any South African that refused to go to school, refused to learn handwork, refused to do a trade, refused to be in business. Nothing is going to change in the life of any South African that refused to get a life and do something meaningful for themselves. Are you guys not surprised to see that whenever there is an accident involving a trailer carrying liquor or alcohol, maybe a trailer crashed or fell, you see the South African guys mobbing a trailer that got involved in an accident and looting the liquor. So, I'd already passed my message. It's very simple and it's very clear. If South Africa does not address this from the government down to their intellectuals, then if they are not able to pass the message to the street boys who are chanting and marching and telling you on the 30th of June, Kwerekweres must go. Come on. How did we get here? Africa, motherland, how did we get here? And you see people with platform, someone like Vuzi, he will beat about the bush, he will divert the question, he will make no meaningful statement or say no meaningful answer. All he will be telling you is how Africans has been killing Africans, telling you how Julius Nyerere was sabotaged by their fellow Tanzania, how Kwame Nkrumah. That is not the narrative we are talking about right now. Let's deal with the issue going on in your country, South Africa, so that there will be peace in that continent. Thank you, and I hope to meet you in person, Vuzi, and have more things, more message for you. Okay? If you cannot call a spade with the platform you have, it's nothing to be proud of. It's nothing to be proud of. If you're from Africa, anywhere you are on this planet, whoever you can tag that happens to be part of the government of South Africa, please tag them, let them hear these messages. The only group of countries in the African continent that seem to have a better policy are the people in the northern part, and because most of them are largely controlled religiously, and you can see their economy relatively better than every other person's economy in Africa. With Egypt as example, Morocco, Algeria, when Muammar Gaddafi was in Libya, it was heaven on earth before the same people came to destroy the economy of Libya. Africa must stand against the madness of some youth of South Africa, either through the AU or by compelling Ramaphosa. Cyril Ramaphosa is a failure. The same way the government we have in Nigeria is also a failure. Cyril Ramaphosa is a failure. You can't watch your boys, your youth, raise arms and ammunition and keep destroying and killing their fellow blacks. The economy of South Africa is in the hand of Europeans. And the same way they program many African countries not to progress is the same way South Africa has been programmed not to progress. Forget the fact that they have good infrastructure. I hope to meet you guys in South Africa one of these days, and I will not come there with Nigerian passport. And I will still be allowed in. How do you explain that? How do you explain that?